Boom. Job chapter 18. I'm reading from the web. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, how long will you hunt for words? Consider, and afterwards we will speak. Verse 3, why are we counted as animals which have become unclean in your sight? I would think they're talking to Job. You who tear yourself in your anger, will the earth be forsaken for you? That's pretty rude. Or will the rock be removed out of its place? Yes, the light of the wicked will be put out. The spark of his fire won't shine. The light will be dark in his tent. His lamp above him will be put out. The steps of his strength will be shortened. His own counsel will cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he wanders into its mesh. A snare will take him by the heel. A trap will catch him. A nose is hidden for him. I'm sorry, not a nose. A noose? What do you have in your translation?
Rope.
A rope. So a rope is hidden for him in the ground. A trap for him on the path. It's a trap!
It's a trap!
Verse 11. Terrors will make him afraid on every side. Terrors will make him afraid on every side. This guy's going, can you imagine having friends like this? Poetic, like every time. They're just, these guys, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be like, bro, can you just get to the point, bro? Like, bro, calm down. This dude's like all poetic, just going in on him right now. Terrors will make him afraid on, like, I don't know if this is an attack yet, but it started off as slightly an attack. He's like, yo, man, Joe, what's up? Why are you making us out to be the bad guys? You know? And then he's going on about wicked people. Why are we counted like animals? Verse 3, why are we counted as animals which have become unclean in your sight? Verse 4, you who tear yourself in your anger, will the earth be forsaken for you? And then verse 5 and on, this is where he's going on and on. What verse did I leave off at?
You left off at 11. Terror surrounded the wicked and troubled them at every step.
Cool. So from verse 5 and on, he's talking about basically agreeing with Job. Like, yes, Job, you're right. The wicked will be put out. The wicked, this, and he's talking about the wicked. Verse 11, terrors will make him afraid on every side and will chase him at his heels. His strength will be famished. Calamity will be ready at his side. The members of his body will be devoured. The firstborn of death will devour his members. Oh my goodness. The firstborn of death. That's wicked. Who thinks about these things? He will be rooted out of the security of his tent. He will be brought to the king of terrors. There will dwell in his tent that which is none of his. Sulfur will be scattered on his habitation. His roots will be dried up beneath. His branch will be cut off above. His memory will perish from the earth. He will have no name in the street. Basically, people are going to forget about him. He will be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. He will have neither son nor grandson among his people, nor any remaining where he lived. Those who come after will be astonished at his day, as those who went before were frightened. Surely, such are the dwellings of the unrighteous. This is the place of him who doesn't know God. Wow. Okay, what are you trying to say, bud? Bildad, the Shuhite.
Feel like this.
Are you trying to say this is what Job is?
Yeah.
Right?
He's hinting it. He's not.
He didn't say it directly yet, but he's like, it's definitely, he's taking some jabs, indirect attacks.
I got something to say about the beginning where he's getting at with the whole making the rocks tremble. Will you destroy the earth? He's trying to hint that, are you Yahuwah to do all these things? Like, because Yahuwah only has the power to be destroying the earth, to make the rocks tremble. So he's kind of like trying to hint at Job, like, you're getting all angry and frustrated. What can you do? Like, can you do these things that only Yahuwah can do?
I took it as an insult. Like, okay, Job, stop crying. The world's not going to stop for you. What do you want? What are you expecting? The world's going to keep on moving. The world's not going to stop moving just for you, bud. That's kind of how I'm taking it. But again, it's all perspective. Anybody else want to jump in? Give their thoughts? Going once, going twice. Moving on. 19. Who would like to read? Jump in. Jump on in if you want to read. If not.
All right, chapter 19.
All right.
Then you have answered and said, how long will you vex my soul and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times have you reproached me. You are not ashamed that you make yourself strange to me? So this Job's perspective is, yeah, you guys are lashing out at me. Verse 4. And be it indeed that I've erred, my error remains with myself. If indeed you will magnify yourselves against me and plead against me my reproach, know now that Eloah has overthrown me and has compassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He has fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness in my paths. He has stripped me of my glory and taken my crown from my head. He has destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and my hope has he removed like a tree. And he has also kindled his wrath against me, and he counts me unto him as one of his enemies. His troops come together and raise up their way against me and encamp round about my tabernacle. He has put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintance are verily estranged from me. Verse 14. My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me, that they dwell in my house, and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I have called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my woman. Wow, he was his wife. Though I entreated for the children's sake of my own body, yea, young children despised me. I arose, and they spoke against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and they whom I loved are turned against me. My bone cleaves to my skin and to my flesh, and I am escaped with the skin of my teeth. Have pity upon me, have pity upon me, O you my friends, for the hand of Eloah has touched me. Why do you persecute me as El, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a sefer. How funny he says that, because they are. That they were graven with an iron pen and lead in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. Still has hope there. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see Eloah, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold and not another, though my mind be consumed within me. But ye should say, why persecute we him, seeing the root of the matter is found in me? Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath brings the punishment of the sword, that you may know that there is judgment. I don't have much to say other than I just see the same, him just crying out basically and getting pinned by his friends. But he says his Redeemer lives. So there's still the glimpse of a little bit of hope he has that he's still trying to hold on to. And it's kind of like, I see him just basically saying, why are you guys persecuting me? I have enough from the Most High. Like, Yahuwah, when he says Yahuwah's hands upon me, I don't think he's saying it in a good way, like we say, his hands upon me, he's guarding me. I think it's in the sense of his hands against me. Why are you adding to my misery? Why are you just the words that you're speaking? There's no comfort. So I just keep hearing the same thing.
Yep, I see a battle. Indirect battles going on. The friends are saying he's bad, and Job is like, you're surrounding me with bad people. Everyone's forsaken me, all my loved ones, my relatives, my my servants in my own home. I'm like a stranger in my own house. People think I'm a freak. I like verse 25. Doug likes it too. But as for me, I know that my Redeemer lives. In the end, he will stand upon the earth. Who's coming back to the earth? Who's going to rule and reign on the earth in the kingdom? Hallelujah. Yahushua HaMashiach. Love that. And again, this is way before the New Testament. All right. Next chapter. Who would like to read? Chapter 20. Going once, going twice. I'll read. Sam, I'll let you get the next one. Chapter 20. Then Zophar the Naamathite. Zophar the Naamathite. Verse 2. Therefore my thoughts answer me, even by reason of my haste that is in me. I have heard the reproof which puts me to shame. The spirit of my understanding answers me. Okay, right off the bat, I don't know what the heck this guy's talking about. Like self-wisdom, self-understanding, like get wisdom from yourself. Like, what are you saying? Verse 4, don't you know this from old time, since man was placed on earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, the joy of the godless, but for a moment. Oh, that's a question. That the triumphing of the wicked is short, the joy of the godless, but for a moment. Verse 6, though his height mount up to the heavens, and his head reach to the clouds, yet he will perish forever like his own dung. Those who have seen him will say, where is he? This is all true. Everything that they're saying about the wicked is all true. He will fly away as a dream and will not be found. Yes, he will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye which saw him will see him no more, neither will his place see him anymore. His children will seek the favor of the poor. That's because it is the poor who are going to inherit the earth. It's an upside down kingdom. The poor will be rich in the kingdom to come. Those who are low will be exalted. His hands will give back his wealth. His bones are full of his youth, but youth will lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness is sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and will not let it go, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his food is, the food in his bowels is turned. It is cobra venom within him. I don't have any problems with this guy saying about the wicked. Definitely doesn't refer to Job. Verse 15, he has swallowed down riches, and he will vomit them up again. Elohim will cast them out of his belly. It's all true. He will suck cobra venom. The viper's tongue will kill him. He will not look at the rivers, the flowing streams of honey and butter. He will restore that for which he labored, and will not swallow it down. He will not rejoice according to the substance that he has gotten. For he has oppressed and forsaken the poor. Sometimes that's how rich people get richer. They stomp on the less fortunate people to get to, what is the word for it? They, I just lost the thought. He has violently taken away a house, and he will not build it up. Because he knew no quietness within him, he will not save anything of that in which he delights. Exploiting, I think, is the word I was thinking of. There was nothing left that he didn't devour. Therefore, his prosperity will not endure. In the fullness of his sufficiency, distress will overtake him. The hand of everyone who is in misery will come on him. When he is about to fill his belly, Elohim, God will cast the fierceness of his wrath on him. It will rain on him while he is eating. He will flee from the iron weapon. The bronze arrow will strike him through. He draws it out, and it comes out of his belly, of his body. Yes, the glittering point comes out of his liver. Terrors are on him. All darkness is laid up for his treasures. An unfanned fire will devour him. It will consume that which is left in his tent. The heavens will reveal his iniquity. The earth will rise up against him. The increase of his house will depart. They will rush away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from God, the heritage appointed to him by God. So, in other words, the wicked will reap what they sow. I don't see much problems at all with what I just read. Definitely not Job, but it definitely has a lot to. If you're ever feeling like you're coveting the wicked, lusting after the wicked rich people, there are very, very few righteous rich people out in the world. They do exist. I do believe Yahuwah has them out there. But most of the people are very lusting after the flesh, after the eyes, and the pride of life, coveting after money, worshiping money, materialism. It's all out there. And if you ever feel like you're giving into that, read some of these chapters. This thing goes in on what's going to happen to the wicked, and you don't want to be part of that. Laugh now, cry later. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
This all has to be in reference to Job, not as in he actually fits the
Oh,
bill
yeah.
for them, but in sense of their mockery. And the only reason I think about that is I'm thinking, in a natural sense, if my friend just lost their child, I'm not gonna mention wickedness unless I'm trying to say something, unless my intentions are to say this is why it came about. Why would I mention how the wicked fall? Why would I mention so much of how they reap what they sow? That's not that's not comforting. So these are all like passive aggressive type of moves.
And this friend's name means sparrow. Zophar means sparrow. Very interesting. All right, Sam, chapter 21.
I'll be reading from the Scriptures, 2009, verse 1. And Job answered and said, Listen closely to my word, and let this be your comfort. Bear with me and let me speak, and after I have spoken, keep mocking. As for me, is my complaint against man? And why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be appalled, then put your hand on your mouth. And when I consider it, I am frightened, and my body shudders. Verse 7. Why do the wrong live, become old, and become mighty in power? Their seed is established with them before their face, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are peace without fear, neither is the rod of Eloah upon them. Their bull breeds and does not fail, their cow calves without miscarriage. Verse 11. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They sing to the tambourine and lyre, and rejoice to the sound of the flute. They spend their days in goodness, and in a moment go down to Sheol. And they say to El, Turn aside from us, for we have no desire to know your ways. Verse 15. Who is the Almighty, that we should serve him? And what profit do we have if we pray to him? See, is their good not in their own hand? The counsel of the wrong has been far from me. How often is the lamp of the wrong put out, and does come upon them their calamity, sorrows he allots in his displeasure. Verse 18. They are like straw before the wind, and like chaff that a storm steals away. You say, Eloah stores up one's wickedness for his children. Let him repay him, so that he knows it. Let his eyes see his destruction, and let him drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what is his delight in his house after him, when the number of his new moons is cut off? Does anyone teach El knowledge, since he judges those that are exalted? One dies in his perfect strength, completely at ease and satisfied. His pails are filled with milk, and his bones are juicy with marrow. Verse 25. Another one dies in the bitterness of his being, and never eats with pleasure. Together they lie down in the dust, and worms cover them. Look, I know your thoughts, and the plots with which you would wrong me. For you say, Where is this house of the noble one? And where is the tent, the dwelling place of the wrong ones? Have you not asked those passing by the way? And do you not know their signs? That the wicked is kept for the day of calamity. They are brought to the day of wrath. Verse 31. Who declares his way to his face? And who repays him for what he has done? As for him, he is brought to the burial site, and a watch is kept over the heap. The clods of the wadi shall be sweet to him, and all men will follow him. Innumerable are those before him. How then do you comfort me in vain, seeing that perverseness remains in your answers?
Yeah, just like I was saying earlier, this actually passage perfectly confirms what I was saying, coming from Job's mouth. You're going to have wicked people that die a great death. They had a great life. They lusted after all the stuff and materialism, and they were treated like pharaohs. You know what I mean? And they die great, and great strength, great age. They ate great food. They ate off of silver, plates and silver spoons. You name it. I mean, big house, nice cars, riches. You're going to have, it exists. People do successfully have a very wealthy life and die great. They die with a smile, literally, probably on the tombstone, like with their rings and their jewelry. It happens. And then you have the other extreme of people who suffer miserably throughout life. Their entire life is just miserable. Both of those people both die and return to the same place. And what Job is focusing on is righteousness versus wickedness. Being right with Yahuwah versus being wrong. And again, I can't emphasize this anymore. This is exactly why we should never preach. When we're preaching the gospel, we should never make the bait that's on the hook happiness. That's not the goal. Happiness is not the goal. That's a benefit. It can be a benefit, inner joy, inner peace, but it sends the wrong message when you try to preach to somebody who doesn't know anything about God, and you're trying to teach them to live right, to make the end goal happiness. It sends the wrong message. It's all about righteousness, us being declared right, turning away from wickedness, turning away from transgressing the law, the Torah, obedience, faithfulness. Anyway, for me, I see just Job just really elaborating, expounding upon that reality. And I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I see him actually making the point of that. You'll say to me, yeah, the wicked don't prosper, but he's saying that most of the time they do. For every one wicked person that has a troubled life, it's like 10 or 20 that have a trouble-free life. And that's what Job is saying. He's saying most of the time, the wicked are the ones prospering, and he just wants a response. Why And I feel like he's asking you, well, why is it so? Why, it should be the other way around.
Right.
Like, why?
Yep.
Like to him, it doesn't make any sense, and I
Mhm.
can relate. That's like, what the heck, man? I bust my behind.
Mhm.
I refuse stuff my flesh wants, and
Mhm.
what do I get for it? You got these people that are wicked, evil people sacrificing babies and all that stuff.
And they're living in their mansion right now as we speak, and I'm sitting here suffering.
It's like he feels like it's the polar opposite, which most of us do. It's like the 360 opposite of how it should be. Job comes from a environment from the Tanakh and the Torah where we're supposed to be blessed for doing this stuff. Yahuwah said, "I'm going to bless your descendants." So Job's
I'm gonna make you the head and not the tail. Hallelujah.
So Job's
Get your blessing, brother Doug. Smack your neighbor right now. Smack him. Smack him and get your blessings. Smack him right down the shoulder. Get your blessings, brother. It's coming your way. A check in the mail.
It's like Job looks at that like, why am I the tail? Why the heck am I the tail? And then you got these unrighteous people being the head. So I can understand why he's asking that question.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way the devil wants it, though. Sometimes the devil wants, his children to be living in prosperous lives. That way they don't seek Yahuwah. Because I'll be honest, if I'm a rich billionaire, what is the chances in a number scale of percentage that I would seek Yahuwah, that I would repent? If I'm living rich, billionaire, like Bill Gates, I doubt anyone would be repenting. So, I mean, that's the reality that, you can't really have both in this world. If you're a billionaire and trillionaire, most likely that. I think that's why Yahusha said, how hard is it for a rich man to enter into the kingdom? How hard is it? Because you got to give up that stuff. Yahusha said, sell everything you have and follow me. Because this rich man was like, oh, I keep the commandments, I do this, I do that. He's like, all right, sell everything and follow me. That was a test. The guy couldn't do it. He went crying.
Job would have done it.
So there's something for us to think about.
That's a good point, Doug. That's a good point. That's a great point, actually, because here Job everything's being ripped from him. So it shows that his possessions don't run his faith. They don't determine his faith.
And that's a false convert, to be honest. If you're gonna try to just get converts into the faith by telling them everything's gonna be good, everything's
Joel Osteen,
fine and dandy, you're making false converts. And Yahusha rebuked the Pharisees for, making false converts. Even though they did it in a different way, they still were making false converts. They were still telling them, you follow the law of Moses the way we teach you, and you got salvation. That was their type of gospel, the Pharisees. They did a works-based, you got to follow the law to the T to be saved, even though Yahusha died for us. So.
Good point. Miracles.
Yeah, I was just gonna say in regards to the riches and everything like that. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily an oxymoron to be rich and have faith. I mean, we think about Abraham and all his servants and all his livestock. I mean, we see Job had it all as well before it got taken away, and he's gonna wind up getting more blessed later on. Joseph. I mean, there's various King David. There's many or there's let me put this. There's a few examples in the scripture where people have had riches and have had the faith in Yahuwah. Does it make it harder? I say yes, because it's more easily, it's easier to trust in your riches than in Yahuwah, which we cannot see at the moment. So, but I don't think it's impossible, because in the same verse it talks about what's difficult with man is not difficult with Yahuwah. So can a rich man get saved? Yes. But I think when he was testing that particular one, it's because he knew, and you brought it out, Dario, that his chief cornerstone was not faith, it was in his riches. And there's a difference in what is our chief cornerstone and what are we building upon. And I just wanted to talk about that because I know we talked about this last time. I don't think money is the root necessarily of the evil. It's the love of it, the lust of it, what you do with it, how you gain it. There's a difference, because in and of itself, we need it. I mean, when we're in this world, It's how we get food. It's how we get things. Obviously, it comes from Yahuwah though, because Yahuwah is the one that blesses and He gives rain on the just and the unjust alike. So I just wanted to draw out that point.
Yep, Doug this week just got his first taste of almost working for a commission-only sales job, which they lied to him. They swindle him. Oh yeah, it's a management position, management opportunity, salary. Yeah, that's later down the road. They don't tell you what you have to do to get there. You have to sell cologne, commission only, no salary, no hourly.
Work 40 hours, get paid for none of it.
Right. And you hustle, and you say whatever it takes to make that sale, even if it's a lie. He got a taste of it. I don't think he's ever really been in that kind of an atmosphere. I've had like 2 jobs, sales jobs before, and I can tell you that salespeople are ruthless.
I felt dirty. Like there's no way I could have continued at that job.
Yeah. You had to drive around in the car and go to like Walmart and go in the store and get kicked out of Walmart for trying to sell cologne in Walmart, and then driving around listening to hip hop music, garbage. These people are cussing up a storm. I mean, it's really wicked. And they'll do whatever they can to get the sale. Lying to people. Oh, we're doing this for a donation to the hurricane victims. Like really low people, like low individuals.
Or they'll be like, we're doing this for our school, the university we're going to. We're doing a little survey. Here's some free samples. Like that's the pitch I was hearing, and I had to be standing next to them.
You want to get more girls? You want to get the ladies? You got to get this cologne.
Oh, it was worse than that. There was sexual innuendos.
Very, very inappropriate. But yeah, the lust of money is the root of all evil, for sure. Anybody else want to say anything before we go to the next chapter? I don't think we'll do it on this session, but next chapter is Eliphaz, God of Gold, I'm going to call him. Let's see what he has to say. He's going to respond back. It's a battle going on right now between these Job and his buddies. They battling right now. So I'm going to end this meeting and start a fresh one so we can get fresh time.